Anpenda kuzilika, anpenda chicks, anpenda thigh, anpenda hizo hip six senses kiwa bamba. Anpenda hii, anpenda that, slow but ende chap chap. Anpenda hii, anpenda that, slow but ende chap chap. Ai, kudade, ai, inadudeda, ai, ai, ninakana ma, anamba na la, ai, ai. I don't have a name for you yet. What should I call you guys? I can't call you hi viewers because that doesn't really... I'll think of a name. I'll try to think of a name. You come along and we live some more. Your husband don't need you, no. That is enough. Okay, hi, welcome back to my channel. I hope your week has been phenomenal. I hope you are having a wonderful weekend, and this English cannot continue beating me like this. Let me turn this fan off because this is annoying. You know, this is so crazy because I'm really just talking at my camera. Like, I'm talking to my camera right now. The concept of YouTubing is low-key kind of crazy. I don't know if anyone else agrees, but anyways, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you've been keeping up. There's 2 videos. I hope you've watched them, and I like that with this YouTube channel, it's kind of like an ongoing story. We're just picking up from where we left. And so the first thing I'm going to say is that from that last video, I realized that I like purple. Actually, I love purple and lavender way more than I thought I did, because suddenly everything that was on me was purple. Purple earrings, purple top, purple shorts, lavender, not purple, but it's still the same family. I have a purple phone. At the time though, when this phone came out, I think this was the nicest color, but at the same time still, yeah, I still have my purple pen. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that purple, lavender, generally I like pastel, but with purple specifically, it seems I need to, yeah. Thank you so much to everyone that has been engaging. Thank you for all the support. I really appreciate it. At the time of recording this, we are at 38 subscribers. Yeah, and I'm just like, wow, we're actually growing so fast. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you for supporting the platform as we grow slowly by slowly. And welcome to anyone that is new, anyone that is seeing me for the first time. My name is TWIRI, and this channel is TWIRI'S World. So I hope you're going to have a good time. I enjoy filming the videos, and I hope you enjoy watching them as much as I do, because I watch them too. Also, I can't see who's subscribed, so in the case that you want me to know that you are subscribed to my channel, let me know. Like, you can DM me on my Instagram, or you can comment, or you can, I don't know, reach out to me anywhere. I have my Linktree on the platform's bio, and you can let me know if you want me to know that you're subscribed, because I can only see very few people actually, because everyone else, they've set their thing to private, which is okay. Just letting you know. Definitely continue sharing and engaging. It really helps the platform grow. Like I said last video, if there's anything you want to see here, let me know. Literally, let me know. My DMs are always open. My comments section is always open. Also, I will be leaving more information. Just this video, any video I do, always check the description box in case there's any additional information. So right into today's topic. This topic is something that's been on my mind for years and years, and the topic is culture shock. I moved to the US close to 10 years ago. It's been almost a decade. It has been almost a decade. That's crazy. It's been 7.5 years to be exact. But yeah, time has really flown. Time has really flown. When I moved to the US, I was 15. I had just finished the first year of high school in Kenya, which is Form 1. Here it's regarded as, or here it's referred to as grade 9 or 9th grade. But you know, same thing. And I had done boarding school. I was in boarding school, so I definitely experienced a lot of culture shocks. So I'm going to split this culture shock thing into different categories because there's so many. As I was writing things down, I was like, at first I was just gonna go number 1 to 10, then pick up from there. But I think it's better to separate them by categories because a lot of them have to do with school. So I want to start with that. So this is going to be culture shock. This is going to be culture shock school edition. Okay, let's start with number 1. I was in boarding school for 3 years, and when I moved to the US, I realized that boarding school is not as normal as it is in African countries. It was definitely not a strange feeling, but actually it was a nice feeling. I would say it was a nice feeling to go to school and come back at the end of the day and be at home. It's like I was in denial for the first few weeks. I was like, there's no way I'm actually at home right now. I'm home. I'm at home with my family. That's crazy. So that's culture shock number 1. I don't know why I keep feeling like saying culture shock. Maybe it's because I just did one a few months ago. This one cuts across all the different ninis I'll do, all the different sections I'll do. The accent was a culture shock. And let me tell you why. It was more of a shock than I expected it to be. And when I was slightly older, I started watching more American shows, you know, these kids shows, the Nickelodeons, all that. Maybe did I ever watch Disney? I don't think, did I? Honestly, I can't recall, but I know for sure I watched some Nickelodeon. And I watched some other American movies, you know, and some of the series, Kina High School Musical, all that. And so based on those, when it was now time for us to be like, okay, we are moving, I felt like I had an idea of what the American accent is supposed to sound like. And I was like, yeah, it's not gonna be that bad. Day 1 of class, Day 1 of class. I go to my English teacher's, my English teacher.
I want to do. Hey, English is so hard. Hey, colonization. Please, why didn't you guys leave us alone so we can just focus on our language?
My English class. Let me just say my English class. I've never floated like that in my life. I cannot tell you what my teacher was saying that day. I got there, I sat down. The minute she started talking, I was like, yeah, I'm leaving this class with no information at all because I cannot, honestly, I couldn't understand what she was saying. I couldn't, maybe it's because I was fresh, like just, as in I had just arrived. Hey, so I thought I had a good idea, but on the ground, things were different. On the ground, things were very different. I don't know why, but it also could be because when I came to the US, a lot of the people I interacted with were my like Kenyan people. So in a way, it's like I wasn't fully immersed into, you know, so it was my first day of school that I was fully immersed into just a complete pure American experience. I couldn't believe how much I was confused. I was like, there's no way. And then my first day of class, the teacher decides to do popcorn reading. She says, we're going to do popcorn reading. I was stressed out. I was so stressed out because, hey, I just arrived.
I just arrived. Is the president coming? I just arrived. Is the president coming? I just arrived.
I just arrived. And then, you know, the first day of school is when I'm really realizing, hey, I sound different from everyone. I really sound different from everyone. Everyone is asking me, oh, where are you from? Your accent. Oh my gosh, I like your accent. So they're asking me all these questions. And that's when it's really clicking and really like setting in that I sound really different from these people. So now I haven't even had the chance to practice the accent. You want me to read? Release me.
Release me, rubbish.
So I read. Honestly, I did my best, but obviously I tried to put on my best, but definitely did not succeed. I was sounding like that. I was sounding like that one police officer. I'll put his video here.
This feel that you are doing. I am like a crocodile in the water.
Me, first of all, the kind of reading, something similar to popcorn reading that we used to do was the teacher would ask, oh, who wants to read? So you would volunteer, and then he would select a few people. And then the first person reads, second person, third, like that. Or it goes in order of the seating arrangement. I don't think had I ever done popcorn reading? Not so much. But even then, it wasn't termed popcorn reading. Yeah, accent was a big shock. No matter how many shows you watch as a foreign person, okay, unless you're very good at impressions and accents and all that, a regular person like me, you don't really learn how to place the tongue, how to pronounce different things differently. Because when I came here, I was really like, it was different. You try talking like that in Akata. In Akata kabisa kabisa. The other thing that really shocked me is how friendly the teachers were. The Kenyan system is very strict. And you're not to have any sort of interpersonal sort of rapport with the teacher. Teachers usually, sometimes you'll have that teacher that's a bit friendly, but honestly, for the most part, it was a strict environment. So it's, you call this teacher Mr. So-and-so, Miss So-and-so, or Mrs. So-and-so. The teachers would even get offended in a way if you call them Miss when they are a Mrs., or if you call them Mrs. and they are Miss. I remember so many times, and I know any Kenyan watching this that went to the school system has probably had this experience or knows someone that's had this experience where you call someone Mrs. by mistake, and they start asking you, why are you calling me Mrs.? Are you the one that married me? And it's like, hey, relax. I was pretty shocked because the Kenyan system it's in a way, not even in a way, it does. The way it operates, it creates this fear of authority figures. So when I came here, I'm restraining, like I'm keeping to myself. I'm not really talking much. Because at the same time, I look at teachers as people you're supposed to fear, So when I come here and day one, I'm seeing the professors being so friendly. I mean, the teachers being so friendly. I'm like, hey, okay, this is interesting. Let me tell you what shocked me even more. What shocked me even more is that students, in some cases, call the teachers by their names. As in, forget the Mr., Mrs., Miss. They just call you by your name. Let me tell you, the first day I had that thing, I could not believe it. I was like, who? Who is allowing this kind of behavior? What's happening? Why are we disrespecting our teachers? Why are we... I couldn't believe it. Because calling a teacher by their name to their face in Kenya is seen as a form of disrespect. Like, do you think you're age mates for you to call your teacher by their name? Do you think that you are at the same level? It was very clear that it's teacher, student, very big distance, like very big gap. As in, we're not friends. We're not here to be friends. So, I mean, there was a few teachers here and there who were friendly and all that, and a bit more easygoing, but for the most part, the interaction was quite strict. Another thing that shocked me with the teachers was that on day one, the first day of, because I came second semester, so I didn't see this happen until when I started my next year of school, where we're getting new teachers and everything. Day one of the class, the teacher gives you a full bio of who they are and their family, and they tell you about themselves and their personal lives. They're like, oh, these are pictures of me and my kids, this is a picture of my dog, this is me when I got married, these are my hobbies. What? This was so unheard of. because I remember we would have sessions like these once in a while, you know, depending on the teacher and how easygoing they are. They'll sit down, they'll come to class and decide, oh, I don't want to teach this day, so I'll just sit down and we can chat. So the teacher would come and it's like, ask me a question. That was the original ask me a question tag, not this one on Instagram. It was the teachers coming to class, they sit down and they're like, ask me a question, and then you just ask them whatever questions you want, of course questions that remain within, you know, respectful boundaries. So that was the original ask me a question tag, in my opinion. But yeah, so I remember having moments like those where the teacher would come and ask us to ask them questions, like, you know, let's talk. I remember asking this teacher, what's your first name? And she said, that's personal information. And she looked even so offended that I would ask that. And I was like, okay. Yet you sat here for us to ask you questions, but I guess, okay. So I was definitely surprised that teachers will come and just willingly give you information about themselves. I was like, wow. Like, wow, this is part of your lesson plan today. Half the class is you introducing yourself to us, telling us who you are. The second half of the class is let's go over the syllabus. All right, let me tell you another culture shock. I'm not counting because low-key I've lost count. Another culture shock was that we weren't really buying books at school. The books were provided. In the Kenyan system, as far as I can as long as I can remember, or honestly, really my whole life, we've bought books. The teachers send you a list, or the school sends you a list. Class 7 students buy this set of books. Class 8 students buy this set of books. So you would buy books and go with them to school. Of course, I know there's a difference with how the governance works and just how the systems work and the resources that are allocated. Because we know what's going on with these people who are just eating the people's money. But when I came here, in the public schools, this system at least, we weren't buying books. If there was a book that was assigned to a history class, we'd go to a place, we pick up the books, and then we come back. The textbooks, that's what I'm referring to. This wasn't really a shock, but I think it's just something to mention. Students in American schools don't wear uniform. I think the only place where people wear uniform is possibly religious school. Like if you go to a private school, then you wear a uniform. But the public school system, uniform, what's that? What is uniform? So that was a bit of a transition for me, or an adjustment for me, because now I have to think of what to wear every day to school. That's not something I ever dealt with in my entire life. I would wake up, I know I have 3 of the same shirt. It's just this one is clean today, we use this one, and then you are rotating because you have multiple clothes, you have multiple shirts, multiple trousers or skirts, depending on, you know, what school you go to. You have multiple of the same thing. So you're never really thinking. Your biggest concern is, have I done my laundry and are my clothes ready for the next day? That's really your biggest concern. It's not, what am I gonna wear? What shoes? What pants? What? Hey, man. That wasn't a culture shock, but just something I had to kind of adjust to. Yeah, let me see. Another culture shock I had was that in several of my classes, the teachers would give us study guides for the exams. Study guide for your exam? That's not something I had ever heard of. I mean, I know what a study guide is, but I've never been given one by the teacher. If anything, they keep that exam a secret. They tell you to read the whole book. Read, know everything, know all the information. And then the thing that you spend the most time on, they don't even test you on it. But here I came, and the teacher is giving us a study guide. They're telling us, study this thing, this and this. This will be on the test. Some of them would be specific. Some of them would just tell you, read this topic, read this topic, read this topic. And that has it also goes on to college. They do the same thing for the most part. I was so surprised. I was like, you're basically giving me the answers. You are basically giving me the answers to these exams. And actually, there's a teacher that quite literally used to do that. As in, you're giving us a study guide and you're telling us, practice this study guide. practice it, okay? The next day we come to the exam, it's copy paste of the same questions. I was like, no way. Like, you truly want us to succeed. You thank you. So that was very interesting to experience, because I had never experienced a teacher that is quite literally guiding me on what to expect on the exam. It was very interesting. It was interesting. So, and the thing is, as much as the exams in Kenya, a lot of the times they are not the ones who set the exams. They order the exams from like these companies, right? And I won't use it as an excuse for why they didn't prepare us for, read this and that. But at the same time, they had access to these exams before we took them. So they could very much tell us, oh, be ready for this. But that never really happened. In primary school especially. I'm referring to primary school. It was very interesting to experience that, because, like, what do you mean you're giving me the answers? I was very happy though. Hey, I'm not gonna give me the answers. Another culture shock I had, I didn't think about this as well when I was in Kenya, because I kind of just knew this as the normal situation. My classes went down from 12 to 6. When you're in Form 1 or 9th grade in Kenya, you take 12 subjects, and that's English, Kiswahili, math, geography, history, biology, chemistry, physics. You have one elective where you choose like French, like a language, or home science, which is home ec here, or music. I chose music. And then we had to take a computer class, and then they also had business. You could take that, so that's another elective. So I did computer. And then the last one is actually not the last one. I did both home science and music and computer, and then PE. So that's 12, right? Math, English, Kiswahili, history, geography, biochem, physics, home science, music, computer, PE. Those are the 12 classes that I took. It was a pretty heavy load, I will not lie. And the way if you want me to talk about how our schedule worked, I could get more into how the schedule operated. But basically my classes went from 12 to 6 classes. Because here, now I was only doing 3 classes per day. 6 classes in total. And I actually it's like I was relieved. At the same time, I was obviously adjusting to the new education system, but honestly, it was such a feeling of relief. Like, you literally cut down my load by half. But at the same time, that school system, as intense as it was with the 12 classes, those classes put me ahead. Those classes put me ahead because when I moved to the US and I was figuring out what classes to take and everything, the physics I had taken, all those classes, obviously my credits transferred because I got my transcripts and everything. They transferred, so they put me ahead. There's classes I didn't need to take anymore. So something like physics, I never did physics again. Ooh, I was so happy. Another culture shock is that the students move from class to class. In Kenya, it's different because the classrooms, there's one building of classrooms, or like whatever buildings the classrooms are in, that's where the students stay. The teacher comes to you as the student. So the teachers have their own staff room where they go, handle their business and everything, get their meals there and all that. And then when it's time for the class, when it's time for them to teach, they come to your class. So when I came here, I found that there are classrooms everywhere, and each building is for a particular thing. This building is for English, this building is for math, this building is for languages, this building is for humanities, or like this building is for, you know, those elective classes. This building is for history classes, you know, things like that. So that means if you have history, English, math, in the morning you're in the history building. After that's over, you now walk to the English building, do your class. After that's done, you go to lunch or whatever, and then you now go to the next building for your next class. So that was a bit of a shock for me, because I was just like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean we're not? So now the teacher has their own room. That class that you're going to for history, that's that teacher's classroom.
Trip started off by me missing my first flights. Oh.
Woo! Jesus. Let me even drink some water because of that. That class that you're going to is that teacher's classroom. It's theirs, and they personalize it the way they want. They have whatever decorations they want, whatever charts, anything they want, because it's their classroom. You are the one who is going. So that was also a bit interesting. So in the classroom, you find the teacher has a small fridge for their lunch, and then they have a microwave to warm their food. So since now this leads to the next one, carrying food to school was accepted. You can carry your own food, your own lunch, your own snacks. You can bring your phone to school. These are all things that were not allowed in the schools I went to. There are some boarding schools, maybe mostly high schools that I know of, but I'm not very sure about primary. There are some high schools that allowed students to bring packaged snacks. Biscuits, cookies, crisps or chips as it's called here. Things like that, as long as it's packaged. The schools I went to, girl, hey, try carrying snacks. Try carrying snacks and let them catch you with those snacks.
Bros, come. Hey, bros.
Hey, God, we were not allowed. In fact, the high school that I went to, they would open our suitcases on the day we are reporting to school to look through the bags to see if there is any snacks that we've carried. And then, on top of that, they would scan us. Hey, God, did I go to a prison? They scanned us with those metal detectors. There are these handheld scanners that they would use. Sometimes you would find security guards with it in supermarkets and all that. When we're going to school, our matrons, who are basically like the ladies that are taking care of our dorms and everything and us, the matrons would have those scanners, those metal detectors. I think they were scanning for phones or just anything you weren't supposed to carry. I don't know what they were scanning for. It was like true. We were being treated like, hey, I don't know. But so they would scan us on day one. Metal detector or that whatever, security check. They ransack your suitcase. They, go through it, literally no sense of privacy at all. It's like, okay. So you knew not to carry snacks. But if you knew. Because me.
You get it? Okay. If you don't get it, forget about it.
You would make me... Why should I not have snacks with me at school? Basically, if you knew, you knew. If you knew how to get those snacks in, if you really wanted to get those snacks in, you get them in. See me behind the tent, up on my tent, I tell you how. It was serious business. So it was a bit interesting, like for me to just, I'm carrying my food to school and I can just eat it in the open. The only restriction that teachers had was some of them would tell you, if you eat in class, clean up after yourself, obviously. Because some people would let, if there's crumbs and then now there's ants, the teachers didn't want that. So some of them would say don't eat in class, or some of them would say if you eat, just make sure you're being very careful, don't spill. We don't want any ants. But for the most part, it was, even outside of the classroom, you're able to just eat your snacks. Hey, try that. Try that in the school that I went to. Just try. Just try. Like even the snacks that you would carry, you have to eat them in secret. No one can see you eating those snacks. Hey, God. Hey. Another culture shock that I experienced was that there were no punishments, and by punishments I mean there's different sorts of punishments here. The only punishment that I've ever really seen is detention. Suspension, expulsion, that exists in Kenya too. But detention, that's like the biggest punishment that I've seen. Or them giving you Saturday school, where you have to go to school on a Saturday, because obviously since it's a day school, so there were no punishments. And let me write this point down before I forget it. Guy, I forgotten it. Am I gonna need to make this a part 2? I don't know. Let me see how it goes when I am editing the video, because these points are actually a lot more than I expected. So as I was saying, no punishments in school except for detention, and even that detention is just like, it's very easy to avoid getting detention. There's a whole other topic of, the school to prison pipeline. That's a whole different topic. But in terms of the kind of punishments that we used to do in Kenya, as someone that is coming from that kind of system, when you come here, it's like, hey, this life is easy. Because the punishment, they would make us do frog jumps. They would, anyone that did boarding school knows this phrase, movement is by running, like movement by running. Hey, well, what were they actually training us for though? Because movement by running. Hey, the amount of A's I've said in this, honestly, that's just, yeah. So the kind of punishments we would do, there's frog jumps. That was mostly, we did that in high school. The high school I went to, those people were notorious for giving us frog jumps. You're late anywhere, do frog jumps. You're caught doing what? Frog jumps. Frog jumps. I'm telling you, those people were building our quads though. What is the other thing that we used to do? Another punishment that you would get, for example, in high school is cleaning the dining hall, or mostly just cleaning the dining hall. That's the punishment I saw. And then another punishment that I used to see people doing, I never did this, thank God, was bottoms up. Anyone that went to my school, and you know what bottoms up is. So bottoms up was a punishment where if you don't finish your homework, you go to this bell area. We had a central bell area, and so we had a designated person to go and ring that bell at specific times during the day. And basically, if you didn't finish your homework, you go to that bell area. It was called the gong area. You go to the gong, kneel down with your book, right? You go and you kneel down, you carry your homework with your book that you are supposed to do your work. You now go and you kneel down, and then obviously you place the book down because it's a flat surface. So now your bottoms are your bottom is up, so bottoms up and then you're not allowed to get out of there until you finish that homework. Yeah, you're not allowed to get out of there until you finish your homework. So bottoms up until you finish that homework. You sit there, not even sit, you kneel there with your bottom up in the air. And I know there was a lot more very petty punishments that people used to have to be given. Another punishment that was pretty common when we were younger, primary school years, no one ever beat us in high school, but primary school years, beating or getting whooped was the order of the day. Every single thing, you're late to class, you're getting whooped. You missed a question on an exam, you get whooped. You did badly on the exam, you get whooped. Oh, you were caught talking, you get whooped. Hey! Nakwambia tulichapwa, we were beaten. We were beaten. Oh my goodness. It was ridiculous. It was so ridiculous. Boarding school, especially the primary school I went to, we used to wake up at 4:30. They had us waking up at 4:30 in the morning. And I was thinking about this morning. This is probably why I'm a morning person to this day, because that's how my formative years were spent, especially like my younger years in boarding school. The sunrise, by the time it's up, you're in class, you've finished 2 hours of reading. Hey. So we are waking up at 4:30 a.m., right? Be in class by 5 a.m. That's 30 minutes to wake up, get ready, go to class. Oh, you thought we had time for breakfast? Oh, no. We eat breakfast at, was it 7 a.m.? Yeah, I think it was at 7 a.m. So from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., you're just in class. Preps. Morning preps is basically study session. I think it just comes from the word preparation. 4:30 a.m. and 5 a.m. There is a teacher I remember very well. This teacher, by 4:45, whenever he was on duty, this was another thing, no teachers on duty. So there was a teacher on duty every week and they would rotate, right? So whenever this particular teacher was on duty, for example, it's like 4:50, 4:55, or even 5:01, 5:05 there. He's already there, fully dressed with his cane, ready to beat you because you're late for class at 5 in the morning. Those are things, now when I say in America there were no punishments, those are the things I'm referring to. We did not have any of that when I came here. As in, this one, I feel like this one deserves a whole other video on its own because, I'm telling you, it's very, very serious. And I remember there's a time the government had banned beating students, and it was implemented for a while, but after some time, the teachers just went straight back to it. But when we went, when we were in primary school, if you did badly on an exam, the teacher would come and you're reviewing the exam, right? And he's going question by question. For example, let's say mathematics. You're going question by question. Each exam has 50 questions. So number 1, okay, this was the question. This is how you solve the question. Okay, who got the question wrong? Stand up. Okay, come to the front. All of you are beaten. Obviously, he's the one who decides. Maybe like, one kiboko, or maybe 5, 2. Nothing too crazy. But yeah, so then he will go question by question. So you find someone that has done badly on the exam is really, really receiving a lot of canes. Like, what is happening? Hey, nakwambia, like, you had no choice but to really try. You really had to try to pass those exams because, we had some teachers who didn't really do that. But for the most part, you would be beaten if you missed your exam. And don't let it be class 8 and you're failing. Okay, I think I need to do another video on 844 because, let's continue with the purpose of the video, which is culture shock. Yeah, another culture shock was that there was no holiday homework. If you've gone for break, you've gone for break. You've taken the final exam on the last day of class, go home. See you next semester. I was like, what? No holiday homework? As in, that's it? And another thing is that after 1 year, you shift. Even if you're taking chemistry again, it's probably a new teacher. So even if this teacher gives you holiday homework, it's really not going to be relevant because you won't have them as your teacher the next year. So even if they were to give you holiday homework, they would probably just give you holiday homework between semesters, like between semester 1 and 2. But even then, they didn't. As in, no holiday homework. And then you have class. When I was in class 5, we had this teacher. He was my mathematics teacher and my Kiswahili teacher. He told us to do 20 model papers for mathematics, 20 model papers for Kiswahili. I understand the need to keep us active and keep us engaged, because the thing is, and this leads to my next point, in the Kenyan system, when you are in the 8th grade and the 12th grade, you have to take national exams. And the exams are standardized. Like, everyone in the country is taking the same exam. So when you're in class 8, you select your top high schools, and then you take the exam. If your grades qualify for that school, you go to that school. So I understand the need to keep us that active, because it's like you need to stay prepared. But at the same time, I'm in class 5. What am I doing 20 model papers? What am I doing 40 model papers for? And a model paper is basically a full exam. which is basically 50 questions. So 50 questions times 20, and then another 50 questions times 20. Like, what? A lot of it, honestly, in my opinion, was busy work. I truly think it was busy work, because the true preparation did not start until maybe class 7 for KCPE, I feel like. Anyway, we had a lot of holiday homework. And that's what I'm saying. Based on how the system is here, you don't need to take an exit exam. There's no exit exam for class 8. There's no exit exam for form 4 or 12th grade. So I can see why you need to keep students active, but at the same time, I think there's an extent, as in there's no way I can't even enjoy my break from school because I have triple the amount of work I had when I was literally in session for school. Like, it was so difficult to even relax. You try to relax, you remember you have homework that you haven't done. And the homework is for all your classes. At least in primary school, it wasn't 12 classes. It was math, English, Kiswahili, social studies, Christian religious education, or Islamic. But in primary, mostly it was Christian religious education. And then, what's the other one I'm forgetting? PE. I mean, you're not really taking an exam for PE, but you're taking an exam for everything else. Oh, science. Science is the other one. So, yeah, no punishments, no holiday homework. That was quite interesting. At least I could finally enjoy my holidays. And no exit exam, like I've said. So that leads me to my next point. The way the school systems are set up here is very different. Because the school you go to in Kenya, high school especially, is determined by it's for the most part a merit-based system. In some cases you can find a way to navigate getting into particular schools, but it's really merit-based. And by merit-based, it's you did this exit exam for class 8, this national exam. These are the marks that you got. These marks qualify you for this school. Or so since you've selected your top 3 schools and like another set of schools, depending on how well you did, that places you on that list. So the way the school system is set up here is the system requires you to take your children to the school that is closest to home. So if your school is right across the street, you won't even be allowed to go and register your child at a school that's 30 minutes away. Even a school that's as close as 30 minutes, you won't be able to. And I say as close as because anyone that's Kenyan that's watching this and has gone through the system knows that 30 minutes is close because most people go to schools that are hours and hours away. So here you have an elementary school in the same district, you have a middle school in the same district, you have a high school in the same district. And it's not just one. There's obviously several. You can take your children to whichever one you want, as long as it's within that radius that you are restricted to. So that's also contributing to why boarding school isn't really a thing, because you're not gonna go boarding school when the school is right here, just 10 minutes away. After school ends, you see people were literally walking home because it's that close. And then the school that I went to when I came to the US, it was literally structured in a way where elementary school is here, middle school is here, high school is here. So you literally don't even need to look for a school far away. It's all right there. So you just go to this elementary, you go to this middle, you go to this high school. So then in that case, you find that there's no need to have an exit exam for class 8. Just you finished your education, go to this high school. There are high schools for people who like perform really poorly and all that, or people who have trouble in school, and those ones are still within the same district, but there's specific schools for that. Okay. Wow. I've shared quite a bit. I've shared quite a bit about some of the culture shocks I experienced in terms of the education system and adjusting to being in a new day school environment. And I hope you have found this video interesting. I hope you've learned something new about how either system works depending on where you're from. And let me know if you had any different experiences, if you had any interesting experiences, if there's something that you didn't expect to hear, if there are questions that you have on the 844 system, which is the system I did in Kenya, or if you have questions about the American system, if you're watching from Kenya or from any other country, you let me know. Let me know in the comment section. You can also always DM me. My DMs are always open. You can find my links on the bio of this platform. It's right there. It's my Linktree. It has all my links, all my Instagram, all that. You can reach me there. Thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Bye. You know, you've stuck through to the end. You're a real one. I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, afternoon, night, and I will see you on the next one. Bye. Oh, please subscribe. How can I forget? Please subscribe, like the video, please share and comment. All the engagement helps the channel grow. It's a new platform, so any engagement that I receive definitely helps it grow. So have a wonderful day. This is me struggling again with saying, okay, we need to work on this. I need to work on this. All right, bye guys.